be okay without a microphone. As Jim said, my name is Ryan Goodwin. I'm seeking the Republican nomination for State Senate District 37. Senate District 37 includes all of Morgan County, but it also includes Jackson, Jennings, Taylor, Harrison, and half of Wayne Township in Owen County. And even though by population it represents just a little bit under 5% of Senate District 37, it's nevertheless a part of the district, and it's important to me that I have the chance to talk to each of you, to be accessible, so that you know where I'm coming from, what I stand for, and that you know how to get a hold of me if you have any questions or complaints. Hopefully it would be more questions than complaints at this point. I'm going to tell you why I'm running. I'm going to tell you why I think my candidacy is one that you should support, that I'm going to get out of your hair. I was here last month when Congressman Walsh was here. Someone leaned over to me that was sitting next to me and said, "Are you going to get up and say a couple of things?" I said, "Not after that guy." No. Not after that guy. What an incredible job he did representing not us as Hoosiers, but us as Americans in Washington. As he said, for those of you that were here, he identifies himself with the Tea Party first and the Republican Party second. And he's gone to Washington and fought the establishment, done things that are unpopular for the American people. I've stood by, like everybody else in this room, as the federal government has run away with absolutely reckless spending, increased government intrusion in our lives, in our homes, in our businesses, and as was mentioned just a moment ago, even into our religious practices and into our health care. Now, what does that have to do with the state Senate race? Not a whole lot, except for this one thing. If anything has stood in stark contrast to our state and our federal government, it's been the state of Indiana. We elect conservatives. We elect conservatives that fight against taxes. We elect people that limit government and try to let the free markets prevail. We elect people that believe in living within a budget. And we elect people that believe in individual freedom. So why me? Why now? At this point, you're probably thinking, well, you look about 18, but you might be 30. And if you're on the latter side of that equation, you'd be closer to being correct. Why don't you just go home, Ryan, get a couple more gray hairs on your head. In the last 90 days, I picked up a couple. Get a couple more gray hairs on your head, and you can come back in 20 years. Right now, the Indiana House and the Indiana Senate is facing a great deal of turnover. More turnover than we've seen in quite some time. There are 19 or 20 seats in the House open for election this year due to retirements. And there are 4 or 5 Senate seats open due to retirements. It's time for us as Hoosiers to draw a line in the sand and say that what we've been doing is working, and we're going to continue to do it. It's important that aggressive, conservative leaders fill those vacancies so that our Indiana General Assembly can continue to be a conservative, liberty-seeking, economically responsible institution. Because there's a chance that we can start to move away from that and begin to go the way of the federal government. And there's not a single person in this room that wants to see that. And so due to retirement in my district, I have the opportunity to run. And that's why I'm in. A little bit about where I come from, and then I'm out of here. Not literally out of here, but I'll go to the back. I served as a police officer for 5 years in the town of Morrisville, until I had a car accident in the middle of the night in 2009 and had a serious orthopedic knee injury. And my doctor said I could go back to the job, but that I would never, ever be able to retire from it. Never would you do 30 years with the injury that you have. So after recovery, I went back to work for a couple of months before beginning to take his advice seriously and began to seek private employment. So I went and became what everybody dreams of when they grow up. Tony, what do we do?
Sell insurance. We're used to eggs and tomatoes.
Yeah, and I make it twice as worse by selling insurance and running for public office. So there'll be 2 cards on everybody's windshield tonight. No, I focus on commercial insurance and risk management, helping small businesses prevent loss, mitigate loss, so that their entrepreneurial dream is not destroyed by a single accident, whether it be a fire or a legal claim. And anymore, just one of these things can wipe out a lifetime of work and business building. I also currently serve on the Morgan County Council, which I say unashamedly is the best job in local government. The county council holds the line on taxes, holds the line on budgets, kind of acts as a check and balance on the county commissioners, and I have the privilege of doing that in Morgan County. I'm married. My wife Daphne is a school teacher in Mooresville, and we have a 6-month-old son as well. Having served in law enforcement, having a business background in local government, and being married to a school teacher, I believe well equips me to address the issues facing our state in the General Assembly. Between those 4 things, most of the work that's done by the legislature is touched by those areas. That's the experience I want to take to Indianapolis as I represent this district across Morgan, Owen, Putnam, and Johnson County to fight to make sure that Indiana never becomes what we see in Washington. I've taken a pledge from the Americans for Tax Reform to oppose and fight against any and every effort to raise taxes during my term in the legislature. That's a promise I can keep because it's a promise I've withheld through 6 years of local government experience. Plus, I just believe in it. I want to help take this state to the next level. That's why I'm here. That's why I would appreciate your support. You can follow what I'm doing on the website, ryangoodwin.org. Try to keep that fairly easy. I'll be back also in April and look forward to coming back the rest of the year as well with your help. Do I have a minute for a question or 2? Anybody have any questions before I take a seat? Thank you for a couple of minutes to talk to you. I appreciate it very much. It's always a privilege to be at Tea Party groups. I participate in Morgan County as well. It's great to be in a room with people that advocate free market principles, financial responsibility, fiscal responsibility, and limited government. That's what we all want, and that's what I'll fight for. Thank you for a couple minutes of your time.